How is everybody doing? This is episode 16 of Sit Down with Sniper. Today we have someone pretty special to me, Danny Ukes. How you doing, brother?
Yo, what's going on, bro? I'm doing good. Thanks for the warm welcome. Thanks for saying I'm special to you. That's awesome.
Absolutely, man. I've seen you in the space for the last, I would say comfortably the last year, as long as I've been in there. And every time I've seen you, man, it's been nothing but like positivity. You've been pushing other people, whether it's like artists, projects, and I mean, you've just all out just been super cool, man. And you have a pretty big following. So whenever I originally reached out to you, shockingly, I did not expect a response. I know that sounds funny, and you're a super responsive guy on Twitter, but I thought you would be so slammed. So it is, an honor to have you here today, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man, and yeah, I'm definitely pretty slammed with people hitting me up, but I don't know. There's people that kind of stick out. Not to shit on the people. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. I'm trying, but not to shit on the people that don't stick out. But when someone comes to me like you, where it's like, all right, let's see, cool cat community, like Sniper, recognizable name, seen him around for a while, doing the podcast thing. Like, yeah, let's do this, like for sure. And yeah, just all around. Thanks. Yeah, I like to spread that message of happiness and goodness and peace and blah blah blah. All those good things.
No, it's been awesome to see you, and I really do appreciate the good words. To let all the listeners know, so you can find me every Thursday on Spaces on Twitter, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can find me on the podcast every Monday, on Apple, on Spotify, whatever you have. I'm looking to make a website right now to where you can just go to sitdownwithsniper.com and it'll be all laid out there with the embedded players. Now, if you go there, it's a little different if you go to the website. But we also had Loser Club and Dower Darsel. Both of them are releasing today. So whenever this airs, it'll be a couple days after the release. It might even be the reveal. I know last week we had Wonder Pals, and they have revealed since then. A lot of them came out. They also look cute. And another quick topic that I wanted to spew out there was CVS, the I guess you could say pharmacy or drugstore, is entering the metaverse. It is filing and a couple of patents. I know, and it's filing with the U.S. Patent Trade Office. CVS is looking to trademark its logo, and they said to provide an online store as well as downloadable virtual goods, including they say health, wellness, beauty and personal care products, and prescription drugs. So I don't know how well that'll go, but big shout out to CVS for trying to take that next step. But with all that being said, we'll jump right in with Danny. And honestly, Danny, I've seen you around the space. I'm sure many of other people have, but I wanted to start off and see if you could talk us through, kind of an introduction of yourself or like a short rundown of the communities we can find you in, or maybe where you've worked in the past in the NFT community.
Yeah, so let's see here. Where do I even start? I guess let's start with House of First. So that is my primary job at the moment. I was hired by the parent company, Landmark Ventures, long-standing banking and investing and events firm. They've been around for 20 plus years. So they opened up a metaverse division, and their first drop was Royal Society of Players, which was the playing cards, poker themed type collection that's still around and still pretty successful, and we still, are building on top of it and supporting that brand. But the second initiative in the metaverse side of Landmark Ventures is House of First. And so that is not the same as Royal Society, as Royal Society is a project, whereas we view House of First as a platform. So it's a curated drop platform specifically for artists that are coming into the NFT space for the first time. So if you look at our artists we've worked with so far and the ones we're going to work with in the future, it's established artists that have awards, accolades, known names, pretty much, that are, they already have a following, they have a fan base, they have an established kind of look. And we work with them to come into the space in a way that is both meaningful and easy for them, essentially, because it's, as we all know, it's really hard to educate yourself in this space. It's as fun as it is. You start from zero and you just kind of have to figure it out as you go. And it's a lot, less of a burden on a collector than I would say it is on a creator. I think that creators have to do everything that collectors do and more, and that just puts a lot of strain on creators and makes it very, very, very intimidating to come into the NFT space. As, great as it looks from the outside, it also looks just as giant and scary. And how am I going to conquer this? And how am I going to understand what is what? And like, the acronyms like GM, NGMI, WAGMI, like what does everything mean? So it's very hard for an artist, and at House of First, our initiative is really to take that burden off the artist, give the artist to a community of people that are already excited for them to drop, no matter, what the art comes out as. I'm not saying in a bad way, but like, we give the artist the freedom and expression to do what you want to do. Make this your art project, but don't worry too much about building a roadmap or utility or all of the marketing stuff, because we got that. That's what we take care of. And in the long term, what's going to end up happening, say a year down the road, we have between 10 and 15 drops. Each of those drops is from an artist that is well received in the traditional art world, and it's a Genesis collection, and the highest we've asked so far, I believe, is 0.06. So, we're not asking too much for these pieces of art that could have significant historical value. And, that's a bit of a buzz term, historical value, but there's something to be said about a Genesis collection from a well-known artist. And then the real value proposition here is kind of betting on the artist in a similar way that, people would buy a creature to bet on Danny Cole. Someone might buy a remarkable woman to bet on Rachel Winter, or someone might buy an everyone to bet on Ian Murray and what they can achieve and do in this space. And so a year from now, we'll have this whole arsenal of artists that are now in the NFT space, and the idea is at least one of them is going to go on and do something really cool. Because artists come and go in the NFT space, I would say. Like, once they're in here, it's kind of like, this is a big way to introduce it, because all of our collections have been large up to this point. We've done 2,500 and 6,000 piece collection, and our next one is also going to be at that scale. And, that's a lot to do, but it's cool for the artist because, it's really not on them to build out a roadmap or anything, because we're the ones that are doing that at House of First. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm really excited to see where we're going to be, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now, because really I think we're building something that is pretty niche in the space, but it's also like, why hasn't it been there? Like, Nifty Gateway kind of almost had it right with their setup, but like, not every collection is a Genesis collection. They bring in a ton of money, don't get me wrong, on a daily basis, but we want it to be a little less about the money and more about, the messaging, the branding, what are we doing, what's our mission, and so far we've been pretty successful, and I think as more people find out about us, there's a lot of room for growth. So, yeah, and it's messed up. You asked, like, a question about everything I'm into, and I focus so much on House of First, but let me give you my other favorite collections are Ghosts, Cool Cats, and pretty much, honestly, like, that's it. Those are my favorites. Sorry to anyone listening from any of the other projects we're in. I do love Danny Cole and the Creatures. But yeah, no, for the most part, like, I've been kind of a little lax on the NFT game lately. Like, I'm still on Twitter and caught up with everything, but I haven't been buying or selling as much. I think, like, if Kevin is the big meme right now. Like, how can you be buying and selling shit when Kevin is running the market? And 2 months from now, when people are listening back to this and they're like, "Oh yeah, dude, remember Kevin? What a time that was." So, like, a lot of times when there's like weird stuff going on, I don't like to go up or go down. I don't like to buy or sell. I just kind of, I like to say I'm very Taoist in nature, go with the flow, the way of the uncarved block, just kind of wherever we're going, we're gonna get there. So to those listening, I hope you enjoyed that performance from Danny Ukes.
Yo, I loved it. I enjoyed every single bit of it because I'm not someone who knows a bunch about House of First. Like I told you before this, I looked into what I know about you, and to a sense, like I kind of stopped after looking so deep because I was like, I can just ask him questions and learn about him from that way. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't asking the same questions as everyone else. But with all that being said, man, yo, if you answer every question like that, I'd love it because I have no timer, and I would love for this to be as informational. And this episode is kind of like you, man. It's all about what you have to tell us. And I will say, um, you have made some great tweets, to say the least. And uh, later on in the podcast, we're actually going to get to one that you made on December 28th. I know that's really specific, but I think it'll bring you some joy, because what Danny said, ultimately, he was correct. Um,
I can't wait. I wonder what it was.
Oh man, it'll be good. You'll like it. But you talked about House of First, and I did want to circle back to that and say, so when did House of First originally start? How long ago did y'all start this up?
So, let me preface it by saying the person that hired me is on Twitter. He goes by ZK85 NFT, but in real life, his name is Zeev Klein. We're a fully doxed team, so he's not going to get mad at me for saying that. But yeah, he and I connected early on, probably around March, maybe a little earlier of 2021,
Right.
during the NBA Top Shot days, and
Oh boy.
yeah, no, yeah. So we, we became friends then, and he did the Royal Society thing, and I was a supporter of that. But it wasn't until mid to late October of last year, 2021, when he came to me and was like, "Danny, we're trying to build out this project. I've seen you grow over the past, 6, 7 months, whatever, and I think you would be a good fit for our team. I want to offer you a position with the company, Landmark, and then kind of specifically in the Metaverse division, and you'll help with Royal Society. But we're also going to be building this new project." And at the time, it was Art Colony. That was kind of like our code name for it. It was like, what is Art Colony going to be? And we kind of honed it down to what House of First is now. The very artist specific collector. It's all about the connections that we're all making, and then the genesis and education and um, you know, like giving, and it's we've really expanded on the vision ever since those early days, and now it makes more sense. But in the early days, it was like the big idea was it's a Genesis collection factory. Like, we're gonna put out these sick Genesis collections from dope artists. And so yeah, it was around October, and we had our first drop in January, towards the beginning of January, and then our second drop was in the middle of February, and then our third drop, I'm probably not supposed to say, but let's just say it's probably gonna be in March. And if all things go right, but I will say that up to this point, our art is more or less complete. It's more about our marketing plan and our from the developer side, getting the website and everything together. But with that being said, staking for the Remarkable Women project just went live today, which we're really excited about. And then a couple months ago, when the Everyone's went live, we also did staking for them. So both of our projects have unique staking propositions, which is pretty cool. With the Everyone's, there's a marketing fund of 12.5 Ethereum, and if you stake your Everyone's, you get something from that marketing fund based on how long you're staking and how many you're staking. And then with the Remarkable Women, it's a point system. I think this is so cool. It's a point system where for every day that you're staking your Remarkable Women, you're awarded points based on how many you have. And then we're going to be releasing essentially wearables in Decentraland right? So clothing that you can wear on your avatar in Decentraland, which is pretty cool. And then beyond that, we're currently working on getting physical merchandise. But we don't like to use the term merch. We like to think of it as fashion. And an example, I wish I had a way to like show listeners this, but earlier I was at H&M at a mall, and I saw this shirt, and it totally gave me Remarkable Women vibes. It was like, oh my god, this is literally like this looks like one of the traits, like one of the sweaters that the girls are wearing in the art. So I was like, wow, this is like, the vision to bring the Remarkable Women brand into the real world. Like we could very, this is the power of Zeev, my boss and my good friend. He knows how to navigate. He's a New York City CEO. Like he makes moves. Like this dude, he had a dinner with Randy Zuckerberg. Like that's really impressive, and like that's kind of why I've had options, of course, but Zeev kind of was like, yo, like let's build, and that's really awesome. I'm really proud to be part of the House of First and Landmark Ventures team. It's a big deal. I'm not gonna lie. My life has been interesting from the perspective of a professional job. Uh, and I know you didn't ask, and probably nobody cares, but I was working like a desk job when I first got into NFTs, and I was work from home, but like that's kind of how I was able to come up, because I was just sitting at my desk for 8 hours a day, answering 60 calls, which you do the math on that, it's not too crazy, right? It's not that many calls. So I was just like doing a lot of Discord and Twitter and learning about NFTs in the meantime, and that was really the come up. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. I'm not gonna lie, but House of First, I'm really proud of what we're doing. Our team is expanding slowly every couple weeks, every couple months. We're getting new people on, and it's good. Where we're going, I think we're heading in a really cool direction.
Well, I can say, Danny, I love the way you speak about it, and I can tell that it's something that you enjoy. Not only do you enjoy it, it's something that you're passionate about, and I can tell by the way you talk about it. And I want anyone listening in to take notes, because this is how you answer questions. I literally just asked the man, when did he start? And I got that amazing answer.
No, it's
Like,
because I don't have an off button, dude. I literally just keep talking until I'm like, oh wait, how long have I been talking? I should probably shut up. That's literally how it goes every time.
it's beautiful, man. No, and I can just tell by the way you're talking, and like kind of in the tone of your voice, like you really give a fuck about House of First. This is something that you really care about. Not only that, I'm a big believer in teams, and I like to see people kind of join the space before they do something. And the fact, I'll circle back to where you said it was like a 3 months before the actual drop. I think you said it started floating around in October, but then you wouldn't do the drop until January, and then again in February. The fact that y'all set around, it wasn't like October 1st we think about it, October 10th, boom, we got a collection out. That always looks awful. So the fact that you had been in the community time before, they found you, which was obviously a great find, because I agree with them. You're a great individual and have an amazing eye. And then from there, you guys brainstorm some things, and then fast forward to January, you push out the first collection. Now you guys are doing staking, which is amazing. And I've seen you also promote LGBTQ communities, Black Indigenous people of color. I've seen you promote literally everything under the sun with positive vibes to it. And I mean, I don't know, that's just an amazing fit. And I know you did say also, at one point you jokingly brought up, you was like, okay, and you didn't ask this and you didn't care. No, that's what this is all about, man. We care about everything you have to say. And anybody who is listening to this episode is definitely here to hear what Danny has to say. So, that kind of did roll me into my next question, man. When did you, I guess you could say NFT or crypto, uh, the whole community as a whole, the whole journey, getting NFTs, crypto, when did that start for you? So for me, like I was 2021, early 20, maybe late 2020. I feel like you were probably in a lot sooner than that, though.
Dude, okay, so this is kind of a funny story. Uh, but also not that funny because it's just kind of stupid. When I was in like ninth grade, maybe 10th grade, you know, like stupid little 13, 14, 15-year-old, whatever. I was really into Reddit, right? I was like super into Reddit when I was younger, like always spending my time on it. Like I just thought it was the coolest, like so much information, so many communities, like whatever. And I remember like hearing about Bitcoin through Reddit and being like, "What is Bitcoin?" Like I keep seeing it. What is it? And at the time, like I don't know if this is really the case, but like I looked into it and they're like, "All right, if you want to set up a Bitcoin wallet, gotta get a Tor browser. You gotta go on the dark web." And I was like, "What the fuck?" So I like did it, downloaded all the shit, and I like got onto the dark web, and I was like, "Holy shit, this feels like just wrong. Like I don't fuck with this at all." And so like I deleted everything, like whatever, and I was like praying the FBI wasn't gonna come to my house or anything. They never did. I guess I didn't do anything too wrong, but regardless, that was it. Like I was like, all right, so Bitcoin's stupid. Moving on, and fast forward all the way to summer of 2020. So we were talking like 2013, 7 years later, 2020. And I'm unemployed, and I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life, which was very confusing to me at the time. But it was like, all right, this is kind of cool. And so with all my new passive income from the government, I started putting money into crypto because for myself, I've always been able to live well within my means. Like if I have $400, I can stretch that for a while, less so now that I have to pay like rent and shit, but like I don't know. Like even if I was getting $600 every 2 weeks. $600 could have lasted me the month, right? So let's put it that way. So with the other $600 every month, or every month, it was like, all right, let's put some money into crypto because I know that it's, I've seen the whole time from when I was in ninth grade all the way to now. I've seen what it's done. It's gone up, down, but I'm starting to understand the vision. And dude, it was so fucked up. Last year, I was putting money into Bitcoin, or I guess this was 2020, so 2 years ago. Time flies, bro. And when I first started buying the Bitcoin, I think it was around like 12,000 in that range. It wasn't above like 20K, and then it started going up really high. It got up to like 24K. So I like saw my money double, and I was like putting in a decent amount. So it was like, holy shit, like I got a good amount of money going. And then, dude, I got scammed. It was a YouTube video where there's like the Elon Musk talking, and it's like, go to this link and send the Bitcoin. And it's like so obvious. Like, I wish I could fucking hit my old self with a baseball bat, but like, whatever. Regardless, all that money was gone. And so I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I was really hurt for a while, but I was like, I'm not going to let that defeat me. Like, I saw what crypto was able to do, so let's get back at it. And so that probably happened around August or September. And so from September up until December, I wasn't really paying much attention, but December when I got my job for paychecks. And then a couple weeks into that was when I found Axie Infinity because I'm a huge video game guy, always been, always been a huge video game guy. And I remember I was invested in both Ethereum and Bitcoin on Robinhood because I was still like, chipping away and trying to raise my coins or whatever. And I saw Axie Infinity and I was like, holy shit, like this is crazy. I can buy these NFTs, whatever that is. Like that was my first exposure was Axie, to play this game to earn cryptocurrency. And it all snapped immediately. Like it all made perfect sense. I was like, shit, dude, that's kind of like a skin in Fortnite. Like that was, the very first like connection I made. And as soon as I made that, I was like, holy shit, things are about to change. And so that was mid-December, Axie, and I'm glad that I found Axie and like wanted to get into it because that forced me to get a MetaMask and set up my Coinbase and like, do everything because I was just on Robinhood at the time, and that's not, you can't do shit with Robinhood. And so got all set up, and then like I had a couple Axies. I spent like $100 for the three of them total, I think, which that was after gas on Ethereum for 3 NFTs. Like, it was a different time, right? So, but I was into it, but it wasn't like the coolest thing ever. Like, I tried to show it to my friends, and they were like, "All right, dude, that's pretty fucking stupid." And I got a lot of pushback from my friends about NFTs at first, but they all came around, or at least most of them did. But regardless, a couple days after, because I instantly became obsessed. I was like, "Holy shit, this NFT thing! Like, I need to know more. Like, are there more projects? Like, what is?" And that's how I found Top Shot amongst a couple other projects. But yeah, I was really fortunate to find Top Shot when I did, because I just like started buying like Carmelo Anthony's and Kemba Walker cards, Series 1 for like $1 a piece, and they would eventually go up to be worth at least $100 a piece. And so, that worked out really well for me, and that was the first time that I actually started to see big numbers and success in my trading, and that was like, it was wild for me because, like, oh my god, dude, I remember waking up one day and kind of like having a panic attack and being like, how the fuck do I have $200,000 worth of assets when 6 months ago I had negative $20 in my bank account? Like, what is going on right now? And like, it was really freaking me out. And then I wish I had like acted on that freak out, because shortly after, the thing, like, market started to tank. But by the time this market started to tank, I was on my way to being the Danny Ukes everyone knows. Like, I was doing clubhouse rooms about Top Shot. I was getting into Zed Run and Nifty Gateway, and talking about other projects, and just spending all my time talking with NFT degens on Clubhouse. Like, that's really what it was. February, March, April of 2021. So it's really cool. The journey was a little staggered, and then it just kind of became all in around summer, around the time Bored Apes and Ghosts and all those great projects came out. Because that's when it really was like every single day. It's like, all right, what's dropping? Because in the early days it was like, all right, there's a Top Shot drop tomorrow, and that's like all there is to look forward to. And then after a while, it was like, all right, there's Top Shot today. There's Nifty Gateway tonight. There's Zed Run drop coming up tomorrow. And then, it became literally lists of, all right, we got 13 different drops today. And that was when we really all should have sold everything. But that's a joke. Realistically, that's when we were, we did exactly, at that time, we did exactly what was right to do. Just buy everything. Like, that was, I had a theory at one time. It was like the baseball theory, where if you're batting 300, you're doing great. If 3 out of 10 projects, if 1 out of 3 hits, like, that's exceptional. That's a great batting average, because it works out, So, but now that it's not the same anymore. It stopped being that way around, I would say, October, November of 2021.
Yeah, that's definitely when it ended. And it's funny that you make the batting reference, because I'm a big Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger guy, and I always preach that people also forget that you don't need, like Charlie Munger says, you don't need 20 stocks to do good. You'll be lucky to find 3 or 4 good ones. And I feel the same with projects. You don't need, I mean, NFTs are different than stocks, of course. Any project can just moon overnight. But whenever it comes to me and investing in quote unquote blue chips, you don't need 20 different bags. You just need a couple good bags. The people that have BAYCs, I feel like they're not out here chasing every mint. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And I like that Axie was your first introduction, because I've befriended someone named Bryson in the community who is a big Axie, and yeah, he's a big Axie Infinity fan, and he's a gamer over there, and he'll be coming on the podcast eventually to kind of give the aspect from an NFT gamer standpoint, since I've never really played any P2E games. What is also crazy is everybody has mentioned the same thing when they've come on here. Whenever you said Axie was your first introduction, I thought to myself immediately, I was like, okay, well, maybe he didn't go through the Top Shot era like most of us did. I figured, yeah. And then you said, yeah, and then I started buying Top Shot, and I was like, there it is. There it is. Yeah. And I mean, I ran up, you remember whenever they turned all the common moments into legendary.
Or limited
Literally,
edition.
yeah, limited edition. Literally all my friends were sending me moments whenever they were comments because they were like, bro, this shit is useless. Like, I don't want this. Like, can I just send you my cards? I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I like basketball a lot. And not even a week later, they would all turn into, limited edition. And they were like, bro, them cards I sent you were like worth a lot now. And I was like, that's crazy. And yeah, it jumped up to like,
You said
yeah,
that's crazy.
that's crazy. Like that's
Oh my
wild. But
god.
I mean, yeah, I mean, they jumped up. I mean, literally was worth like 70, 80, 90,000, and then I watched it go back down to like 5,000, 4,000,
Yeah,
because
that shit is
everybody was able to
painful.
take their money out. So, that sucked. I do want to ask, did you lose all your Bitcoin on that scam? Like all of it?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was I didn't have that much, right? I think I had 0.05. Right? So it was like,
Wow.
nothing too crazy, but like I was like, really proud of that, but yeah, it is what it is. It was a great learning lesson. I haven't, thankfully I haven't been scammed too many times since being in the space, and I definitely accredit that early, super early pre NFT experience for that. So,
Yo, you gotta
yeah,
learn.
yeah, totally, totally.
You gotta learn. And the last part I will touch on is whenever you said there was a time where $600 could last you a month, brother. You were damn right it could. I've been there, and I'm kind of still there. Like, people see my net worth and they see my portfolio. They're like, "Oh, bro, you got 300 NFTs." I'm like, "Bro, none of that pays my bills. Like, none of that is a job. None of that is." I mean, yeah, I could cash out everything and then slowly but surely start pulling it out. But I mean, then what's the point of investing at the end of the day? And like fiat, I'm not fiat rich by any means. I'm more JPEG rich, like most of us say.
Oh yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
Preaching to the choir.
I'm definitely there. I am unemployed as well. So, and that's why I say on all the podcasts now, I am trying to do sponsors. I am trying to do stuff like that because I'm somebody in the basement in Kentucky with a $150 microphone, and that's it. That's all we got, folks. That's, but to fast forward a little bit, because I love that you're answering these with lengthy answers. I don't care if this podcast is 2 hours long. I think this is amazing. I do have a couple more things to ask you. So you're a very outspoken person. You've been very transparent with the community, with who you are, and we all love that. I know I do. If you don't mind, in the most respectful way, let me ask you: is there a failure? And we won't even use failure. So we'll say an obstacle, a speed bump, something in your life, whether it be your personal life or crypto related. You kind of mentioned it with Bitcoin. So we'll see if you have another story that you were able to overcome, and it helped shape who Danny Ukes is today. Like for me, an example, I got into some trouble back when I was 17, 18, opened my eyes a lot, and now I kind of look at the world differently. I mean, I'm only 25, but I mean that really shaped who I was going forward and really helped me in life. I didn't know if maybe anything's happened to you that has made you a better person, whether, like I said, it be personal life, NFT, crypto, or you can respectfully just tell me. Let's go on to the next question.
It's interesting. At first, I was going to, and I think failures like special. Like we have to fail. Like it's important that we not only that we fail, but like we reflect on why we fail, and yeah, failing is good. But at first I was gonna talk about like an NFT project that I worked with that didn't work out or whatever. But then you went a little deeper with it, so I wanna reflect a little. I've always kind of been a believer that, and I don't know to what extent, but I've just kind of had this philosophy at one point or another that there's like a before and an after in life, right? Like there's like before, like you just said, like but you were 17, 18, that was the before, something happened, and then there's the after, right? And for me, I've always been trying to figure out what my before and after is. When I was younger, I thought it was like, oh, you smoked weed for the first time, and now like you're opening your eyes to like all these different things. But no, that's not it. Uh, Before graduating from college, like I all my education life and growing up and all that, and now post college, and I don't think that's it either. I've wondered if it has to do with like relationships or if it has to do with, any particular, moments in my life, and I still don't know if I've quite found it. I think the closest thing to it at this point is the before and after of NFTs. And that doesn't even feel right either, because that's, NFTs don't define me. Like, it's not the biggest thing in my life. So, and I don't even know if I'm answering the question at this point, but like, in terms of, looking through what's kind of shaped me and, what failures or shortcomings or things that I've had to live through, I think it's one of the things about me is that I still like have a very hard time defining exactly who I am and what I am here to do. I think I've done a better job of it because of NFTs and like being able to reach a wider audience. But with that being said, I don't know if necessarily what I'm doing in the NFT sphere, in the NFT space, is my big to do, and like I'm saying, like I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And that's just kind of how I live my life. Like I like to be here, like I'm just having a good time, I'm just happy to be here. But I don't know, like, dude, I don't know if I'm answering this question right at all.
No,
Uh,
you're good, man. No, so the thing is, my whole question, the whole thing that it boils down to is what helped shape you get to where you are. But I like the way you answered the question because you said you're still trying to figure out who you are. You don't know the big to do in life, and it sounds like you're more of a going with the flow kind of person. So it might not even be a failure that we have to talk about. It could just be that you're still trying to find who you are, and that's okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're still young. If you don't mind me asking, you're like under 30. I'm almost positive,
yeah, I'm
right?
25.
Okay, so you're the same age as me. I have nothing figured out. I literally just made a video on Twitter. You saw it. You reached out to me,
Yep.
and it's crazy how many people reached out because it seems a lot of people feel that way. And I think what you should always remember is the role that I've always seen you play is the uplifting person, man. You literally have House of First that you're working with, and that is doing what? You're uplifting others. You're trying to bring joy to others. You're trying to help others. And every time I've seen you on my TL, you're trying to be positive. You're trying to do stuff in the fingerboard community. You love that shit. That's your passion. You don't care if people join, don't join, make fun of you. You could care less. That's what you enjoy. I love that about you. Not only that, I mean, just remember, like I said, you're a super uplifting person. So maybe the whole goal is that you are that crutch for other people. You are that support for other people. Because I definitely feel like if I ever needed something or needed to talk to somebody, I could reach out to Danny Ukes, and we don't even know each other that well. So, I mean, keep that in mind, man. Just keep in mind that you're a super loving person. And every time I've ever seen you, even going back, listening to your old high school stuff, you always like to have fun. You enjoy having fun with friends. You go with the flow. And I think that's everybody tries to figure out life too much until they're at the end and it's too late. I don't think nobody really knows. But that's just my take, man. I won't get too deep, too philosophical on the
Nah, man,
listeners.
it's good. It's good. This is a good talk, right, man. Getting some
But
emotion out of it. Feels good.
absolutely, man. I did mention earlier about a tweet that you had made. So before I ask this next question, I can actually refer to the tweet first. Um, so this is kind of a
I'm
three
so
part,
excited. What
yeah,
is
three
this?
part question. So my original question is going to be for the listeners. Like I said in the last episode, we don't give out financial advice. We always say do your own research. I was gonna ask you, what do you tend to look for in a project, and what are you looking forward to in the future? Any other projects? But before I say that, this is kind of why I left the question in from last week. On December 28th, you made a tweet talking about BYO pills, and you thought they had potential to reach 2 ETH. At the time of you making this tweet, little do people know they were at zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.9. That was the average sale price the day before and the day of Danny tweeting that. I can't remember what exact time it was. Since tweeting that, Danny has been, you could say, correct multiple times. Looked through their activity. They have had an average sale price of 2 ETH. I can't remember if it was 2, 3, or even over 3 times, but Danny was correct. So I say all that. Danny was he saw something. Whatever he saw, he was correct. Now I'm not saying, hey, you got to go follow Danny. Everything he says comes true. But I do want to know what made you feel so strongly about BYO pills. For me, I might even be saying it wrong. I've never really looked into the project, but I've seen you talk about them so many damn times. And since you made a tweet last year saying that you felt like from a point 0.6 standpoint, going up to point 0.2, I mean going up to 2 ETH would be big. I mean that's a big jump, and it happened. Currently sitting at 1.5, but I think if everyone's in the NFT community, we can agree we're kind of in this bearish market. Everybody's looking for the next project, so they're looking for like the next apes, the next doodles, the next cool cats. Like Danny said, I'm kind of in the same boat as him. I'm just relaxing, not really buying anything right now. But the main question is, before I confuse anyone, what were you looking for in BYO pills, and why did you feel so strongly that they were going to go up in price?
Dude, well, all right. So first off, BYO pills or bio pills. Personally, I say BYO pills.
Okay.
Dude, we have history. That was the first project that ever paid me. That was the first project that I ever actually was like, all right, yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna, help you guys with advising and some marketing and hosting Twitter Spaces and blah blah blah. And yeah, they sold out really fast back in I want to say it was June or July of 2021. And the floor, let's see, they sold out at 0.06, and for months the floor was 0.04, 0.03, 0.05, 0.06. And so I was always convinced about them because I worked with them. I talked with the team. They were always super legit. Like they were great. They come from a game design background. They, have gone through, the entire game making process multiple times. They've gotten funding in the past. Like everything about it screamed to me, yes, this is it. And so it's crazy that you call out that tweet from December 28th because I don't even think that was the first one. I was doing
It wasn't. It was not the
yeah,
first one at all. You had
yeah.
made multiple tweets about, I think they even went back as far as July. I saw tweets of you in threads with BYO pills in July of 2021. That could be a lie, but I could have swore that's what I
Oh
saw.
yeah, no, yeah, definitely because that was, that was around launch, and so I was definitely a huge spokesperson for them, and I got a small percentage of the final drop revenue, which was pretty cool, and they went on to do apostles and the vapes, and then the land, and now they have the crafts coming out. So for months I've known that this team is legit, and it's so crazy because some big names in the space shit on them. Like Beanie shit on BYO pills. He was like, talking shit about them one day when I was talking shit about Beanie because that's I like to butt heads with Beanie. But then for now, the pills to be where they're at. So when they started getting some traction, I was like, yeah, like this is a long time coming. I have 20 of everything. Like I have 20 pills, 20 apostles, all that. I should have stacked more early on because I never had that fear that they were a rug or a fear that they weren't going to execute. I was always confident that it just needs more time. And I was so confident that I bought 5 at mint and I only had 5. And then a month or two after the fact when people were talking shit about the project, that's when I went back and swept the floor and bought 15 of them. And so I'm glad I had that conviction and that they had that phase where they weren't as popular because I was like, yeah, this probably should be popular. And I don't say that about too many projects. There are some that I think are cool, but not as groundbreaking. I think what BYO Pills is doing is like really actually pretty groundbreaking for the space, and I think there's some exciting things coming up with land selection. The crafts are coming out. Staking's going to go live pretty soon, and once the trip token comes into play, oh my gosh, dude, that really is like the most exciting project. You asked me what my favorites are. I said Cool Cats and Ghosts. Definitely throw BYO Pills in the mix as well.
Oh, I'm throwing them in the mix. All right, I'm throwing them right there in the
Yeah.
mix. Excuse me, I had to take a quick step away from the mic, but I do like that you said that it was the first team to pay you, and because to me, you to a sense were banking on yourself. You felt comfortable in being with the team, and also that you could provide some sort of uh importance to them, and you did. And I also want to say that I love that you are so transparent with the fact that they paid you. I think not enough people do that in this space when it comes to projects that they help. Me personally, I don't get paid by any podcast. I don't get paid by any projects that I talk about. I have never been paid for anything, so keep that in mind. Um, but no, I love that you're so transparent about it because that's you. You want people to know that you're not hiding anything. And like I said, Danny, that's just another great thing about you. And the fact that Beanie shit on BYO pills, just shows you how good they are because he tends to shit on great things. So we will shit on Beanie, even though he's not great. Uh, and I like that you kind of have the same stance as me. I took the same stance with Crypto Ray Rays. I was banking on the team, which is Dose.
Yeah,
I
dude.
was banking
Dose is
on,
dope.
yeah,
Dose is
Dose
dope.
is amazing, amazing guy, and I was banking on him more than I was the art. Yeah, I love the art, which is ultimately was like, oh yeah, of course I'm gonna do this. It's a double. Like I love Dose, I love the art, I love dogs, triple entendre kind of thing, like Ray Ray, gotta love it. So
Totally.
I love that you took the stance with BYO pills. You were like, yo, I know the team. I love the team. I love what they have. I literally can see what they're working on. And they're also helping me out financially because if y'all remember, literally just 10, 20 minutes ago, Danny said like there was a point in time where he did have to make $600 stretch a month and he became very blessed and very fortunate through NFTs and other things. So, that's a big thing whenever a project can reach out to you, you help them and they can help you. That's how business works. You cannot be mad at that. Um, and I did mention that tweet. I wanted to. Danny did speak about BYO pills much before December 28th, much before. That was just one tweet that I wanted to pull because he actually, whenever people start mentioning actual prices and you know, kind of like a call, especially from kind of bigger people in the community. I kind of take note of that because I mean they're putting a lot of trust and belief behind that tweet, or they're getting paid to tweet it. Um, so he was right,
Yeah,
obviously.
unfortunately, my contract with them ended back in July. I wish I was
Oh,
still
okay.
getting
Well,
I wish I was still getting residuals for my tweets, but no, actually, not to cut you off, but
no, you're
just want
good.
to
You're
make
good.
a quick point. One is that I don't work with very many projects. So if you look at projects where I've accepted money, there's less than five, and if you look at projects where I've accepted NFTs, it's a little different. I don't really go accepting NFTs like that. Like usually when people offer, it's like, no, thank you, but I'll buy one on my own. Once in a while, someone will offer like honoraries are cool. Like obviously, I'll always take an honorary. But sometimes like recently, Photo gave me a NFT because I did a Twitter space with them and I put out a tweet. But like in the tweet, I even said shout out to Photo for hooking me up with this, like whatever. I try not to do that too much because it is pretty. I don't know, like especially when it's like selling something. Like I really don't want to shill something to my followers that isn't valid, and it's even gone beyond that to the point where projects offer me first list or like allow list access to their projects, and they're like, "Oh, bring this to House of First and get them to they get on the allow list," and it's like, no, not really. Most of these projects like probably aren't going to sell out, so I'm not going to shill it to my community to give them a quote unquote allow list. Like, so yeah, that's not to toot my own integrity horn, but I try to really like take precautions and just be like you were just saying, like very upfront about this kind of stuff because it's I don't know, like there's big amounts of money being played with. Like there's it's I don't know, too many influencers fuck around and just are selfish and don't think about anyone other than themselves, and that's just kind of a really fucked up way to go through life.
No, you're right, man. There's a lot of influencers out here that take advantage of things. 888. But yeah, it happens. Yeah, I hate to see it, especially like charging outrageous Dutch auction prices and stuff like that. 888.
Yeah, for
But
sure. Like that's why I said like if I'm gonna release art, first of all, I'm probably not ever gonna release my own generative project. I would just like do stupid little Danny Ukes doodles, just like not actual doodles, but like just draw whatever and just sell it for 0.02. You see
yeah,
these, and I don't want to call out any influencers because some of them are my friends, whatever. But like some of them, why are you coming out with an 8,000 piece collection? And why do you think you're gonna sell it out? Like what? Like I don't. What are you doing? Like it's going back to your point earlier about House of First and how we took a couple months between gathering the team and actually putting out our project. That's because not to shit on other projects, but I feel like we're a little more legit than other projects. We kind of, and obviously we are a platform, so not a project. There is distinction, but like we have our lawyers and like we have people in all like anything you can kind of think of, like we got people that are ready to assist us or help us or like whatever. So like I don't know, not a lot of people are prepped up with that, especially when it's some 22-year-old that just and not to shit on some 22-year-old because we it's fun to be that 22-year-old that comes up. I was pretty much that last year, but 24, 22. I'm getting old. Regardless, like, yeah, it's I don't know, just kind of my mindset.
no, I mean, yeah, I feel old too, man, and I'm only 25 myself. And I remember whenever you just said something about honorary pieces, yo, whoever's listening to this, please throw me an honorary piece. It could be a
Honorary
damn,
sniper, hell
yo,
yeah.
you can make it a rock and just say, yo, sniper, this is your rock, and I'll be like, fuck yeah, man, well, let's go. I'll take that rock everywhere with me because I love it. Um, but no, I've always thought that them were like the coolest pieces. My boy Andrew Wang, he could start a collection himself of his honorary pieces. It's fucking wild. And I've even thought of I've never wanted to do a generative project. Someone says something to me, they're like, bro, with the part you could do it. And I'm like, nah, you're right, I probably could, but I'm not. I don't have nothing special. I don't have no utility to offer anyone. The only thing I've ever thought of, which would be a cool idea, obviously like sponsors and getting published is hard. So I've always thought of doing like my own project where each guest that comes on the podcast, if they are a founder, if they are an artist, or if they even like to draw, it's like they just draw one picture. I make 5 copies and put it in like a podcast collection. And that's what would technically help fund the podcast and help me actually grow more than just someone in the basement. Because as of right now, yo, I'm sure you guys are hearing me bleep in and out. You might hear the floor squeaking. There's
Nah,
no
you sound
telling.
alright.
There's no telling. But yeah, so I do want to jump in. We have like two, three more. Before I jump into two or three more, I do want to say there is no POAP for this episode. Unfortunately, it's like a World War IV. Me and POAP, we're just like button major heads right now. All my designs have been declined, and things happen. So, long story short, as of right now, until further notice, there will be no POAPs. And if you DM'd me for the one on the last episode, unfortunately, I cannot give it to you because they declined it. So I don't have any codes. I don't have it myself. And I was really excited to do this every episode. Me and my friend are trying to work on a site to where maybe we can just do it ourselves, like try to make our own POAP. But there's no telling. Anyways, I wanted to jump on the last two things. One of them being, what is something you feel the NFT community lacks? I know this is something you could probably go on for hours about. I'll say a short one for me. I feel like photography is still super slept on. I definitely think we should still be pushing black artists, people of color. That is some major things that I think are still slept on in this space. They're becoming better, obviously, but I think it's just like I said, something that the NFT space does lack right now. So I was curious if there's anything that Danny Ukes sits at home and he is like, damn, man, I wish I could see more of this in the space. Like we agree we want to see more women, we want to see more people of color, we want to see more photography, but what's on your mind? You might agree with some of those, you might have something different, but shoot it at us. Let us hear what you got.
Yeah, definitely agree with everything you mentioned. For me, I think right now, and this might sound a little weird, I feel like a little bit of the magic is missing. And I think it's just because things have been so boring and repetitive for the past couple of months at this point. You know, like going back to Kevin, dude. Like I hate Kevin. Like I don't care about Kevin, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. It's like, you know, like I want to be having conversations about projects that will move the space forward and move society and humanity and the idea of Web3 and like where we're headed, because right now we're all fucking around with pictures of dogs and it's stupid. You know? Like that's kind of my issue, because it was this is how it progressed. This is literally like in February of 2020, it was Top Shot, Zed Run, Nifty Gateway, like a lot of focus on one of one and utility and like play to earn, stuff like that. And then the next couple months, that's what it was all about. And then came Bored Apes and Ghosts. And no disrespect to either of those projects, the utmost love to Ghosts and Bored Apes, obviously, great. You know, they did their thing. They spurred a lot of copycats. Some of them better, some of them worse. And we, since then, have just been stuck in this phase. You know, in those months of February, March, April, you know, those earlier months before those Ghosts and Bored Apes came out, the two big that spurred a lot of other things, we were having conversations on Clubhouse every day where it was, what can we achieve with this technology? How can we transform dance into an NFT in a meaningful way? How can we create a living clock and turn it into an NFT, so every time I go back to it, it shows exactly what time it is? Like, those were the conversations we were having, and it was very much like inspired and like, oh my gosh, anything is possible. Like, I can't wait to, you know, see where we get like a year from now. Where are we gonna be? And we went the fucking JPEG fucking cartoon banana fucking ape route. Like, what the hell? We really went off the rails around May of last year and just kind of stayed off it. And, you know, we wonder why people look at the NFT community and they call it shit, and it's because a lot of the art is shit. And so it's like, when all you see, to quote Tyler the Creator, is an ape wearing a Supreme hoodie, it's like, I don't care. You know, like, from the outside, like, if I found NFTs today, I feel like I would be less, I don't know. I don't know if that's fair to say, but I think that something is missing right now, and maybe it's just like I've lived through a lot of the space and I'm already like looking back with, you know, golden eyes or whatever. But it just feels like, you know, the conversation, like, we have to get back to the point where it's like people are doing cool shit. Because people are doing cool shit, but it's not, it's so like hidden amongst all the redundant nonsense. And so I think that, and that comes with maturity of the space, and maturity of the space comes as, you know, a whole, not as pieces, or it comes as pieces, not as a whole. So if, you know, I'm mature in the space, I'm to a certain degree, you know, I think I've done a lot of learning. I'm more mature than someone that entered the space yesterday, but guess what? There's more people that entered the space yesterday than there are of me. So it just kind of like, we're always constantly at that ground level of, most NFT collectors are new. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't know if most NFT collectors, I would say I doubt that most came in the last 3 months, but I will say that as we mature as collectors, I feel like there's more people that are new coming in that are immature. So it's just kind of like we're always at that kind of looking for that stasis where it's like, when are we actually mature as a space instead of as individuals? Because as a space, we're immature right now.
We're 100% immature, and I have to agree with you. I do feel like the magic is missing, and I feel like that because people are always looking for that next pop, that next project. Like I said earlier, the next
Very
Clonex,
about the
the
money.
next,
Yeah.
yeah, all about the money. And I'll tell you what, um, I think Kevin, and I said this the other day on a space, I think Kevin is fucking horrible for the NFT community. And when I saw the picture, I put this on everything I love. I did not laugh one time. Nothing about that shit was funny. For one, it wasn't funny because uh, it's
It's like a
over twenty
rug.
thousand.
Like,
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's
yeah,
over
like
$20,000, and memes were funny back in July, August when they were point one and ETH was $1,000, $1,200. That's when shit was funny. That's when people were able to just buy multiple collections. Stuff was super cheap, 0.005. Like that's when memes were funny. You're telling me 20,000 plus on a meme that has continuously dropped since it's seen that price, you get nothing for it, no utility. If you want to just say that you have a meme, then I mean I can show you tons of things you can buy other than Kevin that would actually make you laugh, would even possibly have utility and so much more. Um, and I'm not gonna lie to you, you said if you found NFTs today it would be a little different. It would be different for me. If I found NFTs tomorrow and I had no knowledge of them, I would 100% only be in it for the money. Because I say that to say this, it was easy building relationships back in July. You hop in the Cool Cat server, Klon, everybody in there, founders, every other message was a founder, the team. You could make friends. And that's where a lot of these people stem from today, was making friends back in July, August, September. And you fast forward, you can't jump in the Cool Cats server and talk to the founders every other message. They're busy. They have a lot more going on now. Not because they don't like you, it's because they literally can't. There's so much shit going on. So, I mean, it would be hard to make those friendships that I have now. It would be hard to just be a random person and reach out to Danny Ukes. Not because you don't want to talk to people, it's just you're so damn busy. You have to be selective with what you do. And it's nothing personal, it's just business. Um, but yeah, I hated the whole Kevin thing, man. I thought that was bullshit. Um, there's difference between, shilling a meme when there's literally nothing behind it, and no, there's no difference. It's just bullshit. That's just what it
yeah,
is. I didn't like it.
it's really weird. Like, dude, like, are is the NFT space board like that? We're deciding that is the funniest thing ever. That all of these spoof collections have to be made, and like the floor for a Kevin goes up to 8 ETH. Like, really, that's what we're doing? Like, and like I like, if you're having fun, cool. Like, I don't like to be the one that shits on other people's fun.
Right.
Like, unless it's my roommates when they're watching, reality TV. That's usually I like that's a different story. But yeah, no, like I don't know, dude. Like, if you're spending 8 ETH on a Kevin and you're not spending 8 ETH on
A cool cat?
yeah, like a cool cat or a couple creatures or like shit, dude. Even get a fucking invisible friend. Like, an
Yeah,
invisible friend at 6 ETH is a better purchase than Kevin at 8 ETH. Like, I truly believe that.
it is. And I mean, you even made good tweets about invisible friends. I didn't think 13 ETH sitting on them was too
Terrible, dude.
good looking.
Unrealistic. It's
I
so
mean, yeah.
unrealistic. Like, what?
I literally responded to your tweet and told you, like, I said the same thing and people bash me. The same people that bash me obviously held their bags until where they're at now. And it's not to shit on nobody, man. It's just to say that, I've been in this pretty long, and I know what to look for. And that starting off did not look good. I've seen it time and time again. And let me tell you, it don't work out, especially in the shape that we're in now. You want to hold something unrevealed at 13 ETH while we're talking about a week later Kevin's? Yeah, you might want to reevaluate that one. But that's just me. I do want to end We've been going for over an hour. I don't know if you know that. I'm almost positive we've been going for over an hour.
Yeah, just about. Yeah, we
So,
started right around
but
3:30.
but it's a great talk, man. It's a
Totally,
great
bro.
talk, and I'm
Totally.
glad you're on here. So the final question that I wanted to ask is, well, it would kind of tie in with the last question because we talked about what the community lacks. Um, what direction do you think that the NFT community is headed? We have more people coming in day by day, which, I would kind of argue that in the last 3, 4 months, we have seen majority of NFT traders and all that come in. Uh, but people are still worrying in and out. Like for me, I see a bear market. I've been doing this for over a year. I don't worry too much. I understand things have to go up and down, but I mean, people are still worrying day in, day out. There's still new people day in, day out. So where do you think we're headed? Do you ultimately think NFTs will be around a couple years from now if we can continue to like revolutionize the use of them, or do you feel like we're not even going to be around if we keep going with these derivative doodle poop head
Oh well,
lily pads?
it's not a matter of if we'll be around. It's more a matter of
How long?
no, because we'll be like I think NFTs are here to stay. It's kind of like think of
Right.
the .com bubble where everyone's like, oh, everyone .com bubble popped and everyone lost their money. Like, all right, but we still use .coms every day. We still go to websites every day. Like, we're still NFTs are going to be a part of everyday life. I truly believe that. I don't know when it's gonna happen. Maybe it's 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Whenever it happens, it's just going to be like you go to a basketball game, you get a ticket, it's an NFT. You don't even think about it. It just goes in your wallet, you have it, and then when you're done with it, it's just a memorabilia. It's a piece that lives in your wallet. And maybe wallets will be custodial or no non-custodial. Who's to say that we're even the ones that are keeping track of all this shit? Who's to say Ethereum is the right chain? Like there's so many things up in the air, and I think that's what keeps us around because in my theory, like in my belief, and I've believed this since day one of finding Axie, like this is the future. And an example of why I believe it, like I said, I'm a huge video game guy. Video games are the biggest, highest grossing form of media in the world. Like they're like movies and music combined don't touch what video games bring in on a yearly basis. And so I 100% believe that I've been so successful in this space because of my background in gaming. Just I don't know. It feels like a game a lot of times when I'm in this space and just navigating it, spending digital currency that doesn't even sometimes feel like it's worth what it's worth, but it's, knowing how to flip and, work and do whatever I have to do to come up. It's felt very natural. I think that we're going to stay where we're at for a while until gaming kind of change. I don't know if gaming is going to be the exact catalyst that we're looking for here, but I think that it definitely could be because, say BYO pills in, let's say, July, August, October, whenever a playable version of their game comes out. Say it comes out and like it blows up and it's like the biggest game, like it's front page or front cover of Game Informer, like whatever, like everyone's talking about BYO pills because you can go in it and there's such a fun game that you can play and it's so fun to play, but then also you can earn money from playing it because that's what we're missing. Like Axie, I love Axie. I think it's great and it's done some really awesome stuff around the world. It's not fun, unfortunately. Like it is kind of fun, but it's not long-term fun. Short-term fun, maybe, but it's not even fun the same way in a way that like a Fortnite game is fun. Like you can pick up a game of Fortnite whenever and just kind of have fun with it. With Axie, it's kind of like it very much feels like it's about the money, and I hate to say that because like I love Axie and everything, but that's something that hasn't been perfected yet. And I know there have been some games on like Binance and a couple games that have kind of scratched the itch of it's play to earn and it's fun, but it hasn't happened to the biggest scale yet. So I think that could be a potential catalyst. But beyond that, something's gonna happen. I don't know. There's just gonna be like, I don't know if it's just gonna be like one day where everyone's all of a sudden like, all right, yeah, we're all just gonna do NFTs now. But like, maybe Coinbase Marketplace is going to have that much of a big deal, or maybe, dude, I don't know, and that's why that's kind of speaks back to like the whole magic is missing. It's like for a while it was like, what are we going to become? Like, what are we working towards? When are we going to get there? Like all these ideas, but right now it's like, well, we've almost talked about all the ideas, it feels like, and we're still not where we were going. So like, what's the deal? And that's, maybe a little not selfish, but just kind of, not giving this, maybe immature, a good word. Maybe it's not giving the space the time that it needs, and it comes down to like, we need patience. And I'm totally a patient person, and that's why like, some of my assets that I do hold, it's super long game, like my punk. Like, as much as I, go back and forth about it, like I'm probably not going to sell my punk for a couple of years, because I do think that at some point there is going to be some kind of cultural switch, that flicks, and all of a sudden NFTs are the cool thing, and everyone wants an NFT, and everyone has an NFT all of a sudden. And even if it goes through a phase where it's a fad at first, like it's still gonna stick around. Like with any fad, there's the people that are there before that are gonna stick around when it's gone. Like when everyone else comes in and they're all excited, and then they leave. So that's I think, I don't know. It's I hate to leave the episode off on an I don't know, but that's the wonder and the joy of the space, knowing that any given day everything could change.
No, I mean, everything's I don't know, man. Everything's I don't know at the end of the day because we never know the true answer. And I mean, you're right. I mean, I think that things will go great. I think that I don't know if it's 5 or 10 years, there's like usually a big breakthrough in technology. And I do think the NFTs are the big breakthrough. I think that it's more than just profile pictures, and people should know that. The metaverse is more than just pixelated people running around. It can change the way that you shop, change the way that you go to the store, change the way that you get groceries. It can do all that. So, I do think they will be around for a long time. And you made a good point. Just like trading cards, there were big booms in trading cards, but there will always be people that collect cards, no matter what. So I'm excited for it. I'm kind of jealous I don't have a punk. I really want one, but I don't even know why I want one. It's kind of one of those things where you're like, damn, I want a punk just to say that I have a punk. And I think we will get to that moment to where it's just a big boom. Everybody wants to have an NFT. And in the next 5 to 7 months, I'm a patient guy as well when it comes to NFTs. Nothing else though, for some reason. But in the next 5 to 7 months, once all these new people in the space kind of get the feel for things, they stop. I'm not going to say that everybody falls for a rug, but the rugs are more obvious to these new people. I think we'll go back into the original, maybe September, October cycle that we had, but who knows? I do want to say, Danny, it's been over an hour, and I could literally go for another three, but I have this nice ass Domino's pizza sitting beside me. So to wrap it up on a good note, I do want to ask you, is there anything that you would like to tell the listeners or like for them to know before we head out for the day?
I think, just I don't even know. Just believe in yourself, I guess. Do good. Put out good energy into the world. Don't take things too seriously. Don't over leverage yourself. Just do good. It's not, it doesn't cost anything to tell someone, oh my gosh, give someone a compliment. It doesn't cost anything to help someone out when they're feeling down. Like, there's a lot of good we can do, and sometimes it feels like there's not much we can do, but sometimes a couple words go a long way. So, don't forget about the power of the individual, and yeah, we can do what we set our minds to. So go and do it. That was like fucking 7 different things, so you can just pick one of those, and anyone that works.
Yeah, just pick one of those and just remember that Danny said it. But no, Danny, it's been an amazing conversation. And like I said at the very beginning, I know you're a busy individual. So I cannot thank you enough for coming on here. You're such an illustrious person. You're an amazing individual, very loving, very caring, and all you do is promote positive vibes and uplift people. So thank you for coming on here, helping my listeners and myself learn a little bit about you, um, more about you, actually, I should say, and help us, I guess, navigate this space a little better. Because I mean, I've learned a lot of things listening in over the last hour. I've done nothing but sit here and smile and have a good time. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for everyone that's listened in. And remember that you can find me on podcast. Every Monday we release an episode, usually in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time. And then every Thursday on Twitter, you can find me on Spaces. I host my own. I usually call it Spaces with Sniper. We are on number 5, and them are every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. Um, I want everyone to have a great day. Remember and pray for those in Ukraine. And yeah, like Danny said, just stay positive, keep a good attitude, and remember, it is absolutely $0 to be kind to people. So I hope everyone has a great day. Danny, again, thank you, and yeah, we will be seeing you next week. Peace out, guys.